And we're back. Well, we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome into Morning Ritual.
Okay, we are back.
We
I
are
mean,
we are back
we're
back.
we're back, and we have a guest. This is we. I don't know about you. I feel rusty as shit.
Oh, absolutely. I've got a ton of ring rust on me.
Okay, we never did have a good intro. Did we? Should probably introduce the guest. Actually, now that I
I
think we.
mean, last last stream we didn't even introduce ourselves, so we're back in fighting form. Honestly.
Okay, well, in that case,
Hi
we should
everybody.
probably introduce. I
Welcome to
don't know.
Morning Ritual. I'm one of your hosts, Anita. Or
Wow.
Jeez, why would I do that to myself? It's AJ Fox. God, it's so early and I'm so rusty and I can't
Wow. Wow, cancel the show immediately.
cancel
This is
myself.
um
And this is my other
I,
host.
I'm Noir, and we have we have a wonderful guest today. My other morning show my other morning show collaborator. Uh why don't you say hi, Sam? This is going
Hi,
so
good morning. I'm Sam DeLev. I'm role playing performer, Twitch streamer, and science communicator about the space. Have had many opportunities to work with both of these fine hosts, and just as they are back, so too am I. So thank you so much for my third time here on the ritual. So proud, so honored to bring it all back in and to really set the bar where we want to see the return of this show now gloriously on Sunday mornings.
So our three timer club that includes
AJ.
I, I was really hoping you would help me out on that
So our
one.
three timer club
Fuck.
includes AJ. Well, Latia's
Mhm.
at 4 times.
Okay.
Understood.
We got to
The
defeat Latia.
competition is set. Did you hear that? Understood. That was mission accepted. Okay. Um. So Latia, AJ, Sam.
Sam. We've also had. I got to look at the guest list to confirm. Several other three timers. I believe
Oh,
we've had. Uh, I think that's pretty well it for the three timers.
wow.
Darby's
Okay.
the three timer.
Darby.
Our lovely possum is a three timer. Let me look at the guest list so I can see for sure. I can actually just look at the promos.
Well, while we have you do that, usually we vamp until we get to certain segments, but I figure since we're coming back, we need to come up with new segments. So the best way to encourage or inspire the creation of new segments is to immediately pounce upon the old ones to get them out of the way. And so there is one that I feel like has lasted far longer than any of the other segments that we have had in this show. In fact, it is the one thing that people still uh, tag me and bother me about, and that is crunching. So we're just going to immediately get into this because I can't remember what your answer was. I don't know that we asked you this. Um, so I want to get it on record. Now, for those of you that don't know, crunching is when some. Oh no, I realize what I'm setting myself up for. Shit.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
God
Glad you caught it.
damn it.
But you've started.
It's
There's
too
no
late now.
stopping now. You have to keep
It's too
going.
late now.
Yep,
Okay.
you're doomed.
Okay.
You're already done. It's just a matter of time. The good news is you get a guns blazing.
Oh, so that's what that feels like. Okay. For those of you that don't know, crunching is when someone takes a die and puts it in their mouth, which is absolutely disgusting and one should never do it except for maybe educational purposes to tell people not to do it, but only once there might be a reason for that little disclaimer. Um But I want to know, which side of this conflict are you on? Are you on the stop the crunch side, which is the side of righteousness, because we are trying to stop people from choking and damaging their teeth, and dice circulate within the hobby. You don't want to be rolling a goddamn you don't want to be rolling a dice that somebody has had in their mouth. Or are you on the side of Crunch Crew, which are individuals that crunch freely, which is a disgusting habit?
You don't say.
Mm, mm-hmm,
Who could
mm-hmm.
fathom anyone doing such a thing? Now, personally, I would never. As I so vividly recall in my first appearance, the justification I gave, I believe, was on the basis of dentistry and the
Mhm.
capacity of professional TTRPG players to afford the necessary reconstructive work if one were to crunch a die. I believe my position in the past was TTRPG players don't make that kind of dentistry money, in effect. So that was and remains my policy personally. I would not do such a thing, let alone do so in a visible, highly platformed way.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
cannot abide such things, and I only marvel at anyone, truly anyone, who, for any reason, would crunch a die, given the dangers that you have so effectively articulated. Although I once again contend that the choking hazard is specialized to a subpopulation of vulnerable individuals, although I am not a medical doctor.
But you do play one in several TTRPGs.
I do. From time to time, I have to adjust the disclaimer. Sometimes I'm a doctor, sometimes I'm not. On TTRPGs, never in real life.
Noir, we've been asked, Noir, what side are you on and why is there an asterisk next to your response?
In the time that we've been gone, several things have changed in the world, and I feel like we should really take a look at the state of things, because history is one of those subjects that involves context to fully understand any given event within a timeline. Now, one could take a look at one specific moment in time without said context and draw all manners of conclusions, but the study of history and general understanding of culture, societies, in political, in politics in general, requires taking a look at the environment around any given event.
Oh, so you want the whole VOD?
So, that said, let's really delve in. We do deep dives here at
Mm-hmm.
Morning Ritual,
Yes, of
because
course. Hard-hitting
to
journalism.
to to skim, it would provide information that would not be complete, and that would be us propagating misinformation, which is a pandemic all its own that we suffer from in today's environment. So, um why the asterisk? Well, first off, the question was, what side am I on? I am staunchly on the side of Stop the Crunch. I am the founder. I have always believed in Stop the Crunch, and not one moment in my life have I ever wavered from that position. Now, I see how you might think that, well, there's footage out there that is questionable. How can you say that you have been staunchly a believer in Stop the Crunch when that footage is out there?
Hmm.
Again, this is where context is very, very important. Now, one of the things that I believe in with my whole heart is, when one has the opportunity, the means to do good, they also have the responsibility to do that good. Um, and so, in the midst of running a fundraiser to do some good for the world, I saw the opportunity to not to one educate a sizable audience at the time of the dangers of crunching, and two, use that as an incentive to do more good for the fundraiser. So, uh, did I crunch or die? Sadly, the answer is yes. Why did I do it? To show what not to do and the dangers of. Right now, the stream crashes. Now the stream goes down.
Oh, the stream's still up.
Oh, I see all the squares are gray.
Oh no, that was just me. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. I was like, no, not right now.
Stream's up. Stream's up. Keep going. Keep
Okay.
going.
So, with context, did I crush that die?
Mm,
Yes.
okay.
Do I regret it? No,
No.
because it did a lot of good. We educated a lot of people. And you know, would I ever do it again? Nah. I did it once. If I need to show what not to do, I can always go back to that footage and say this is what not to do. I was one and done. We got a lot of money for it for a good cause. I will no longer be dealing with this subject. I think this answer concisely responds to it.
You did
Now,
not inhale.
1 second, everybody. 1 second. Hey, Sam.
Yeah.
Hey, Sam.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you, Sam.
Understood.
So you're on Team Crunches, but not for free.
Wow, crazy. Look, crazy. What's up, buddy? How we doing? What's up?
I think that you might have fallen into the what Omnis calls "I will not crunch, but $20 is $20."
Well, that was Joy. What was that? No,
No, that was
yeah,
Omnis.
Joy. Oh, I thought. Oh, wait, Joy was the prostitute.
Yeah. Everybody has a price, apparently.
Wow. I think everybody is forgetting the fact that I did not personally profit from this. It was for charity.
I think that's just for
Charity.
me.
Wow, you know.
Everybody has a price.
So thank you.
No, joy is what you felt when you crunched, says Grey Day.
You know what? I did not come back to this goddamn show to get bullied.
No, you didn't, which is why I was so surprised when you brought it up very first thing. But I'm glad you took this opportunity to address the issue with all the seriousness it deserved.
So that was the crotch segment fully out of the way. You know, one of the things that
Joy, for the record, is the Chew Chancellor.
why do y'all remember that? Oh yeah, we have a
list.
We have our crotch record keeper in chat.
I'll get you that clip, by the way, Fox. It seems like it'll come in here.
Joy,
I don't think
look,
that-
Joy's in chat. Hi, Joy.
I don't think that that's necessary. That's actually. Okay. While we are on the subject of segments, we do have an old segment that we can revisit as well. That will probably, hopefully, pull me out of this hole. Which is we used to ask people what their tabletop commandments were. My question is, do you remember what yours was? Because I have it here.
Oh, absolutely not. I don't think that was one of the ones that came very fluently at hand. I said, wasn't it one that I just sort of identified them as we continued on?
Wait, run that by me one more time?
I can't remember. Some aspect of the ritual, and it may have also been members at the table. We kept on with the interview because I couldn't think of everything at once because I'm not the strongest on the spot, which is ironic in an extemporaneous performance medium.
Well, what's funny is I have your commandment right here. Would you like to know what it was?
Fascinating. Yes, please.
Sam, the commandment of Sam DeLev is Thy fun and that of thy fellow players is not wrong. Do you still stand by that, or would you like to make an amendment?
Hmm. I do not stand by it, naturally. I think we can all agree.
God damn it!
Oh, what did you do, I suppose?
Those gushers are filled with resin, though. You see, and this is what we need to stop pushing the crotch narrative. Wait, I need to stop talking about crotch in general. I'm moving on.
Nora's so excited to talk about crunching that they barely introduced themselves in the season premiere before bringing it up.
I fully introduced myself.
That's why it's barely. I do still believe it is not wrong that foundationally people come to the table with all various desires. I speak for the record of one's fun and not of crunching. That we can all agree is foundationally ill-advised and one ought not engage in it. But no, vis-a-vis one's fun, like there's a reason everyone is there. I mean, I know that sounds trivially true, but like you want to be there because it's fun. Even professional, we're not like just saturated color shirt and tie getting in our cars and going to our sad TTRPG commute to punch in our sad TTRPG card. We're here because it's bloody fun. And although sometimes we pursue the expression of that in ways that are imperfect for the table, right? We're not always our best players or our best GM, and sometimes our desire for fun doesn't express itself perfectly. Like, if one's desire for empowerment makes one try to be too main character at the table, that doesn't mean that the fun, the desire for empowerment as such, was wrong. That I think it can be too easy to label any motive for coming to the table as being cringe to have. And that I think is maybe one of the most important things about thy fun and that of thy fellow players is not wrong. That if you're there because you enjoy the puzzle of the game system, that isn't wrong. And it is strange and weirdo behavior that from time to time, very role-play focused players will put that fun out to be wrong. And likewise, war gamers to role-play heavy styles. The thing that brings you to the table isn't wrong, even though I think it is constantly worth reflecting on how you are pursuing it and how that impacts everyone at the table so that your fun does not become more important than anyone else's at the table.
Okay. All right. I like that. Fox, you got anything?
I don't know. I got caught up with going to my job at the TTRPG mines.
Ooh, I like those too. Yeah. I want Par at the beginning of The Incredibles, the TTRPG, right? Like that no one's doing that in professional TTRPG. Like no one is here who doesn't find it fun.
I gotta mine those days somehow with my pickaxe.
Yeah.
I mean,
How else
I
will you mine food for your family?
I think in the coming in the I might be a little bit of a bummer here, but I think in the coming months we're going to see who's in it for the love of the game and who's not. I think we have moved past the hot spot of TTRPG, AAP performing and all that good stuff. And I think right now you're going to see either folks that are doing it for the love of it or the ones that have developed a sizable enough audience to stick around. So I think naturally this is going to work itself.
There's a TTRPG bubble.
I don't think people who were in it for the bubble were less worthy of membership
and I
in the
agree.
space. I'm glad to have them, and I think it's kind of cool that for a brief shining moment, TTRPGs were seen as any kind of a ladder to anything. I think that's nifty, that was a source of 15 minutes of internet fame. That's wild and beautiful. And like, I think it's rad that folks are out here partaking of it for that. I think it's cool. Their fun also isn't wrong. And I also think even people who are there for some degree of ladder, like there are lots of ladders out there.
I'm not falling for a goddamn ladder comment. I'm not doing it. You can't make me. Nope. Because I know where it's gonna go, Sam. It's gonna go the
What, you
same
think I
way.
can't use ladders? I'm really good at pull-ups. Noir, what?
What the fuck? I can't win. I can't win. I no matter what I do, I lose.
Where do us cloud chasers go next? Is Warhammer profitable?
That would be delightful too.
Actually, no. So my next. God, it's been so long since we did. How do we
How do we even do this anymore?
I don't fucking remember.
I mean, most of the times we really just bullshitted for like until a segment came up.
Yeah, we could simply scream about Professor X and his stank-ass wheelchair again.
I mean, yeah, that is another mind that is rich with ore.
Alongside the TTRPG minds.
They have actually already started previewing Professor X for Marvel Rivals, and I can't wait for the first time Sam gets got by Professor X. I think we're going to hear cuss words that have not been invented yet.
Oh, which is, I'll be fascinating to see the implementation. Is it a biped? Yes. There's no right answer here, frankly.
Yes. No, the answer is yes.
Okay, because and just to veer us very slightly off topic, my colleague 16-bit Heresy, Eric Campbell of the Streampunks, recently sent me a trailer preview for one of the new Switch 2 games, and it's wheelchair basketball, and it looks good. So, like, they went with biped Xavier, apparently, and that's a choice. But further, they're doing so in an era where maybe actually wheeling in video games might not perma-suck. I have long contended that wheeled movement in video games is tremendously fun. I think the existence of the Tony Hawk's Skate Park series is a testament to that. And like, I think wheelers have a lot of good gameplay in us. And Marvel Rivals has chosen to eschew that, which is fair enough, because then I would probably cry about the stank-ass wheelchair. Again, there was no right answer for them. Like you, doomed from the start, absolutely doomed. Likewise, in TTRPGs, wheelers, very fun.
Joy, we don't ship X and Magneto because Eric deserves better.
Exactly. That is correct. Magneto was, is, and shall be right. If only because when you're comparing them against Charles Xavier, that's kind of a default. Put stairs, in your school, there's 4 of them. Just ramp that motherfucker. It's not like there aren't enough grounds around the mansion. There's this huge area. So, it's not like you're tight on space, like the ramp would be too steep. No, you have all the room in the ramp. The fuck's your excuse, Charles Xavier? What's your problem, you weak TK pick-me-ass wheeler?
I need y'all to know that the Marvel Multiverse RPG game has an X-Men expansion out, and so they have the battle map for the X-Mansion. There are we now officially have the floor plans for the X Mansion. And y'all, when I tell you that a good 50% of the mansion is made up of Charles Xavier's office and then his master bedroom. And then all of the X-Men and the students have to like there's one wing that is just chock full of bunk beds.
Got
and yeah,
plenty of leg room in that bedroom though.
and and no ramps, but elevators
There's
for
a
him
flow
everywhere.
on like it's like what? A 2-story above ground and then some undetermined number of stories below ground,
Oh,
typically in
Joy.
most depictions. One
Joy, I've got bad news for you, and I'm so sorry to interrupt. Joy
please.
goes, if I find out the X-Men shit Airbnb doesn't have ramps, I'm gonna make freaking lose it. Prepare to make freaking lose it because we checked.
We
There are
checked.
no ramps.
Because of course it wouldn't. That wouldn't be consistent.
Elevators and no
Well,
ramps in a building that frequently gets attacked and likely loses power.
It's a school. You know the thing about schools? You don't get to discriminate on who goes to your freaking school, except on the basis of mutant status in this case. But I think that kind of makes it like a performance charter kind of school. I know I had to audition to go to my little art school, and like that's the thing, because like that's not a protected class like disability. You're a school. Okay, cool. You don't need ramps, you little pick-me-ass wheeler. But like, what if your students do? What if their power set, unlike all the other Wheeler mutants, doesn't allow them to mitigate their disability? What if they just have a different set of powers that isn't relevant to their mobility? It's a school, dude. What's your problem? See, you worried about filling time. Nah,
I was just
nothing
saying
tells
3
us
out of
different
3
things.
appearances we have ended up on Professor X. I think we need to get in contact with the people from TED because I think it's official. Sam needs a Professor Xavier to stake his
I
wheelchair.
think Sam needs
TED
to be on
Talk.
Smarty Pants Club over on Dropout.
Yes, yes, let's make it happen. Get in the comments. I think. Oh, this might be well, no. Before we do that, um, there was another segment that we have that was a lot more inconsistent with how often we did it, which was if you were able to take the funds, popularity, and resources from one franchise and place them anywhere you want it in another franchise, where would you what would you take and where would you send it?
Marvel to Noirvel.
No,
Let's
that no,
go!
Hey, I'm your
Let's
guest. Show me deference.
go!
Thank you.
no, boo, no.
I made my choice.
From the 616 to the 312, baby.
Fox, because this is the first mention of Noirvel on the ritual,
Mhm.
would you like to talk about the project to which I refer?
Cut. Let's try this again.
So, Noir has been
No.
working on a Marvel multiverse universe that consists over multiple games and streams into a wildly interconnected narrative, which is really fucking cool. It's so comic books, it's so fun, and the first episode of of our phase 1 is going to air on the 15th of April over on Althaven, and you should all definitely check that out. And in fact, because I've got producer unlimited production power, do you all want to see a preview of
Wait, what?
of some art? Do we want to do that? Or do we want to do the preview of the Bad Meets Evil poster?
We can do the poster because the art. If you were exclusive, look at the art. You can sign up for the coffee. Um,
So let me just throw an image in here. Actually, let me go into studio mode first. Toss an image in here.
I can't believe y'all pulled Marvel into this. Y'all
We
absolutely.
kind of have to. I'm contractually obligated as a producer, and head
I'm
of
also a
human
producer.
relations, and
I'm also a
kinda
producer
have
of
to.
multiple Noirville productions.
I was gonna be so good and not talk about Marvel at all. I was gonna be just-
Exactly, and I got that for you. I solved that problem very cleverly. I would like to say, I think we'll
No,
do
this
lovely things with
bullshit.
MCU
I
money.
don't want to talk about Marvel. This
You know, with Marvel to Noirville money, we could get
Oh.
Deb to play. That would be so lovely. It'd be perfect. That would be such a perfect thing. Because we'd have Marvel money now.
If we had Marvel money, shoot, shit.
Right? It's a good idea, actually.
Okay, can we get another answer as well, then?
There's our preview of our.
Mine is not insufficient. I get to just move it around. I just get to do things.
So there's the preview of our first Noirville property, Bad Meets Evil. Are there gay people in Noirville unlike real Marvel? Yes, there are plenty of gay people in Noirville. And Stucky, is Stucky canon in Noirville?
Oh, Stucky being Steve and Bucky.
Oh,
we were both thinking my character from Star
thank
Wars.
you.
I can't. You know what? Sure, I'm going to give some lore that has not been revealed in the Marvel yet. Steve is not Captain America in Marvel. And Bucky is no longer Winter Soldier. Yes, yes they are. I just had them as retired together, but you know what? We'll make Stucky canon.
I'll forgive
Joy
all our
has-
childhood fights if they're canon.
I'll forgive all her. Listen, I owe you a massive apology anyway. So if this will put me on the good foot with you, then absolutely Stucky is canon. You deserve better from me. So absolutely, Stucky is canon. And that is why Steve is not actively Captain America. Eli is. Because Sam Wilson as Captain America doesn't make any fucking sense. It should have been Eli. Young Avengers set him up for it, and then they dropped the goddamn ball.
And this is why Marvel doesn't get to have Marvel money anymore. They don't make good decisions with it. We make better decisions with it.
1 second.
Thank you, Marvel. That'll be for Norval now.
Yes.
Also, Tony Stark has been cloned. And the clone is Tony Stark, Toni Stark. And she has a child, which was introduced in Street Punks Presents. So there you go.
I was today years old when I realized that Tony Stark just perfectly fits Baby Shark.
Tony Stark, do.
Don't do this.
It's
Don't
done.
let this be a.
It's done. It's in the world now.
Don't do this.
So yeah, check out Normal. It's gonna be really fun, and we're really excited for it because a lot of good work has been put into this by a lot of your favorite TTRPGers.
We've got
and also me.
We've got about 40 something players, and and growing. Um,
So many gifted subs to make Joy canon in Norval.
I mean, if you want to be in the Marvel, you fucking nepotism. Yeah, you're in. Like it's just that simple. Um, so I have a new segment idea.
Joy is the TTRPG Nepo baby.
Oh no, like Joey's been out here making moves well away from me. I'm been watching like, god damn. But
If
this
Tony Stark's Trans the Shark song would be about Blahaj, you're right.
the oh my god, the segment idea that I have is brand rework. So I'm going to ask you what your brand is currently, and you tell me what you would like to change or add about your brand as perceived by the internet. So, who would like to go first? Probably our guest, obviously.
Very
What is
well.
your brand and what would you like to change about it?
I think I have a fair amount of brand confusion. Multiple things are attributed to me simultaneously. Obviously, the classic is there are 3 ways to get me into a thing.
Mhm.
It's got gay, science, or puppies. And anytime a given product has any 3 of those things,
Mhm.
Or all three.
oh, this is for Sam.
Or a gay
And that's a
science
very
puppy.
easy science puppies. Gay science puppies. It's
Yes.
the final form, isn't it? And yet simultaneously, I have noticed that beyond ascribing and associating me with cuteness, there's also this long streak of ascribing to me great villainy and violence that I confess I don't entirely understand. That
Don't you?
for some reason people perceive from me some degree of malicious intent.
Say when you deliver it like that, though.
We really doing this? Is this really what we're doing?
What do you find yourself being attacked?
No, it's fine.
Am I branding at you?
If this is the way you want to go, so what is the brand rework that you were pitching here? What would you like to have associated with Sam DeLev going forward?
Well, I think this simply puts me at a crossroads. If
Mhm.
I'm simultaneously and dichotomously thought to be both innocent and villain for the sake of brand coherence, I think it's just time to pick.
So which one are you picking?
Oh, one doesn't decide one's own brand. The internet does that. So internet. Innocent or villain? You decide.
Grey wants to know how far the nearest knife is from your hand right now. And is willing to bet that you can produce a knife on camera without it moving from where you're currently sitting.
Do we define moving by the torso or the hip? Because I'd have to move my center of mass. I would not have to move my position.
Villain vibes coming pretty strong at the moment, not gonna lie. Villain join me. Fuck Drax! Drax! You mother.
Also,
Who's going-
you've been accused in chat of Emma Frost voice
Oh, interesting.
by Joy.
Interesting. Admittedly, that one veers closest towards one of my Norval characters, the one that you can catch on Bad Meets Evil, by the way. Which I think maybe does tell one a little bit of the finger put upon the scale. But yes, I'm increasingly, as I've continued doing May Contain Science, the thing that I will genuinely, sincerely, and with my whole heart plug and promote as a project I do on my own that I'm incredibly proud of and that I would love to get eyeballs on. We're in every week on Tuesday on Twitch and then coming out later Monday over on YouTube in my coffee. I talk about a newly published finding in science that made me go, hang on, wait, what? That tends to vary from biology to paleontology to astronomy to materials science. It's just something I think is nifty that helps me understand the world better or was just freaking bizarre. Most recently up on YouTube now, there was what I could only call Turbo Nerd Con Lang conference, wherein cognitive neuroscientists at MIT invited a bunch of people who spoke Klingon and High Valyrian and Dothraki and Navi from Avatar and Esperanto, the international auxiliary language that so many people are like, oh, I should learn that, and then never do. Yeah, that one too. And then looked at all of their brains under an fMRI to see whether they brain with their Klingon brain the way that they brain with their English brain, or whether it's more like, Python is a programming language, but our brain doesn't really treat it as a language. These are the kind of things that we cover on my show, which is the thing that I do when I'm not TTRPGing, and the thing I just kind of drag a little bit into TTRPGs whenever I can get even the thinnest veneer of an excuse. And so to that end, that's one of the aspects of my brand that I think represents some of the work that I'm proudest of. And although I am, like so many of us in this space, a little uncomfortable of accepting compliments, the one where I really do swallow, grin, and accept with joy is any time that I've managed to get someone a little bit as excited about science and about curiosity about our world as I am. That is just my very biggest W. So if there's anything that I could strengthen in my brand very sincerely, without any funnies, without any ha-has, it's that. I think our actual real world is as incredible as anything we could imagine, in part because so much about our real world is beyond our imagination right now, and working to bring us a little closer are scientists. And I think that's really, really cool.
Hell yeah. Damn, this is where I wish we had giveaways, because I would love to do a giveaway for, like, if you drop a comment on may contain science and we can get you some, but I don't have anything because I'm broke. So just do it because it's awesome content, you motherfuckers. Fox, what about you? What is your brand and what would you change?
I have a brand.
Work with me here.
I feel like my brand is stretched in too many different directions. I need to work on hyper focusing on more than one thing. Because I do TTRPG, I do graphic design, I do writing. Basically it's creative ADHD. Sam is Bill Nye if he slayed. Yes, correct. And
that's the highest compliment I think I can achieve.
Sam Delev, yassified Bill Nye.
That is awesome. But so sorry, I interrupted you. Please.
I have. I feel like I wear too many hats to accurately describe what my brand is. Because I am a cat mom.
I miss my boys.
I am a graphic designer. I am a TTRPG producer, performer. And I also do some writing and editing. I do a little bit of everything, which is kind of a problem. And with the rapid death and decay of the hell site formerly known as Twitter, I feel like I've lost a lot of my following as a response. to that. And also being stuck in the middle of nowhere for the past 9 months, I have also feel like I've lost touch with a lot of the space. I don't know what's going on. I
Well,
don't
so
know
then it's
what's
time
what.
to
I know the
reawaken
Crit
your.
Awards are on right now, but I have and never will be considered for them. So
Well, I mean, like I know a lot of the folks involved with the Critter Wars, and shout out to them. I know personally I'm not pursuing anything involved in that because it is a popularity contest like to some extent, and like there's a and like I think Laura said it perfectly in Threads. Which not Laura. I think the Transplaner team did a very good job of concisely responding to why like a lot of POC um individuals aren't necessarily pursuing it. Um Unfortunately, in the nerd space there is a bit of a discrimination issue.
oh, absolutely.
And so if accolades are based solely on the amount of people that you can get to show support, unfortunately that does put a number of people at a disadvantage. So
And it
like,
definitely feeds into a feeling of inadequacy that I think that a lot of us have to encounter and wrestle with. Um,
I
that
mean,
we aren't good enough or we aren't working hard enough.
that's it. I think things like the Crit Award should exist to, propagate the space and to, show the best of the best out there. And I think that that's handled very well via nominations. But when it comes to like, the actual winners, again, please check out the Transplaner thoughts on this. They did a fantastic job, as they tend to do. Like when it comes down to it, Transplaner is knocking them out of the park.
Yeah,
Uh,
I read they cross posted that on the Hell site. Um, and I read through their thread on that and it was really good, really well written, really concise.
all right, but it sounds like your brand is the brand of too many hats, which I think is a brand all its own.
Joy said
Yeah.
jack of all trades, master of fun.
Oh, see, and it works perfectly on a business card,
Do
so
you
that's
see?
great.
Do you see how all the talent went to the other siblings? This is fucking ridiculous.
I think that you all split that the talent fairly evenly.
Uh,
If I
what now?
propose things that were voted on Oscar style by pre-chosen diverse academy of trusted people in the space. That is a tough one because there are oof, oof,
Basically
oof.
switching
There's a
to
lot of
a
people.
Nobel style. No, that's effectively what that is, having a Nobel committee style approach where selection is heavily dependent on the composition of the committee. The Nobels, very famously, are also profoundly unfair, as every selection is, because there are so many people doing so many cool things in science at once, making it a fairly decent parallel to TTRPGs. Awards will never properly nor equitably recognize the people who are making profound contributions to our society and culture, and yet they're kind of cool and fun, and they remain somehow both our problematic faves, occasionally a cudgel with which we beat down our own self-esteem for not having them, and ultimately something that a lot of us aspire to, even despite ourselves. I admit I don't think terribly much about them, not of them, but about them, because ultimately awards can recognize
Oh no,
work.
Drax and Joy. I, this is a combination made in hell. I'm so sorry. Please continue.
This has been happening. I don't know where you've been about that.
Oh Lord.
Well, thank you for opening up the venue further for admixture between the various social circles as they grow stronger. But yeah, awards recognize work that's already being done. But like, again, people who are in TTRPG are in because it's fun, and that is
True.
first and foremost the most important thing about it. And if you are looking to do high skill expression work, really the most important thing is and remains what you and your immediate peers think of that work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I think Fox does good work.
Morshadi
I
hit the
play
nail
with
on the
one
head with
Viking
what I
Dutch.
was thinking is that how many diverse, trusted people in the space have shown their true selves, and if you're into the industry enough, it seems like your hands get dirty.
Oh, so this is how we slip and fall into serious topics. I forgot how this works.
It happens every time, baby. Patty.
Hey. Okay. So, next question.
Where's your brand?
What's your brand?
Nah. No, that's okay.
Why are you so keen to post questions to us but not fail to answer them yourself?
Because
Do
nobody
you
wants to hear my
feel that stems from a deep insecurity?
Oh, we're not. One second.
Oh, this is like my second appearance on Morning Ritual. Excellent.
Hold on 1 second. Bring it
This
in.
one's
Hold
about the
Yeah, what's up?
wheelchair. The second one was
on.
about
What's
Hold
going
on.
on?
Hey, Fox.
Yeah, what's up?
this.
Hey, I need you to knock it the fuck off.
Do I? Do I need to
Huh?
knock it the fuck off?
Yeah, I need
Or
you
do you
to knock
need
it
to
off.
knock it the fuck on?
This is why I
Again, for
love
those of
you.
you just joining us, this is Morning Ritual with our host, Fox the Noir Enigma. Welcome back, everyone.
That was good. I can't even be mad.
Can't come?
Oh, I forgot all our segments.
We're starting the morning ritual where I give it's Joy starting the morning ritual awards where I give arbitrary awards to people that they like.
Laura's brand is being the
That's
weaker of me and Joy. Fuck you, Drax. Like, Nora gets the best victim of bullying award. You know what? I'll graciously accept that because I have been bullied since we've gone live.
Wow.
Before we've gone live, y'all haven't seen the things Santa said to me with the cameras. Oh, they've been so mean. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Mostly you were talking about Grand Theft Auto before we in the green room beforehand.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I love, like, Grand Theft Auto roleplay seems to be how people who would not be caught dead playing Dungeons and or Dragons, like, get their first little taste of roleplay. Like, I haven't really partaken of it as a cultural product, but like every so often, I just dip my head in and see how they're doing, and it's just like a cousin for people who don't admit that they like the stuff that I also do.
I feel like that's a growing genre. There's like a genre of like I'm too cool to like role play or fantasy whatever, but also I'm looking at you fantasy sports teams like Grand Theft Auto role play, what's the Red Dead Redemption role play? It's all oof.
For the record, Sphinx, show up and get bullied for 3 hours. It's actually going to be 2 hours. We're trying to tighten up the format of Nora's bullying. We're trying to compress that.
What do you? I thought we were condensing the show, not Nora's bullying. Did I sign up to come back to just get bullied by different people in the nerd space for 2 hours every Sunday?
What have I done?
AJ Hushkid has graciously offered to take over his tech so that I could focus more on dunking on you. But no, I won't dunk on you. More than I already have.
My next question.
What's your brand, by the way?
My next question. Sam, who would you choose to have play? Uh, go ahead and pick a PC from a game that you play, and who would you choose to have play them, and who would you choose to play you in a movie?
Oh, uh, my firm policy is not to ever cast anyone as myself, because the easy answer is an unknown or it's wildly problematic.
Yeah,
There just are like,
yeah,
what are you going to pretend
yeah,
my gender, my weird, like,
yeah.
I got a Venn diagram that simply doesn't have a lot of people with established careers. So I'm not gonna Scarlett Johansson someone on into me.
No,
That's
they're
not
gonna
a
make
thing
it
we're
like
doing.
the most like completely off cast, I think.
Like, it's not like we
Like
don't.
we'll get Terry Crews to play Sandalev.
Right, like you gotta go just
Let's just go completely in left field.
Oh,
Or as you said the other night, in a completely different ballpark. In another state.
oh my god.
precisely. Yeah, no, it's the Oscars rule.
Would you like to Sam?
Well, simply to use the more delicate version of the rule, invite my gentle audience to examine Oscar awards for Best Actor and so on, identify the roles that portray a disabled character, and reflect upon the actors who played them. Yeah, so I'm not doing the problematic thing with cast having myself cast. I think that's great though. I think it's an opportunity to platform an unknown. We need that.
Troy and Drac are out here wanting Aquafina to play them.
I just watched their friendship explode on chat. Yeah, you know what, Sam? Yeah, there really is nobody. Okay, better question. This is probably problematic as well, so please forgive me if it is. Who do you think Hollywood would choose to play you?
They'd put Asia Kate Dillon in a wheelchair.
I need to look up who this is.
Adjudicator.
Oh,
Easy. Next question.
you know, one of the things that I wanted to do with this show was to give people who have like the best example I can use is like when Mercer was on, we tried to give them the opportunity to change what the Mercer effect was. I would like to give you the platform when you are trying to do face cast and people suggest actors to you. I would like to give you the platform here right now to let folks know who you don't need suggestions from or of any longer.
I mean, really, it's they try to find like it's always just gonna no. Ultimately, it takes about 10 seconds before people come to the conclusion that I started from here, which is you can't do it. And I'm going to use that time as much as like, yes, I don't want anyone to further suggest to educate a in a wheelchair, just please. That it is really actually kind of messed up that like I genuinely just don't get to play that game. And so many of us like get to play the fan cast game. And it is kind of wild to just to effectively be exempt. And maybe as a group, we use the time we would have spent on fan casting to reflect on like, there's a thing where genuinely you could have Aquafina play you, but you could also have someone who's anything like you, who's already in the industry. And it's really just kind of wild. It's ultimately the aggregate effect of like very small groups and intersections between them. To answer the other part of the question, Meryl Streep and Dr. Kindly.
Oh, That'd be good.
Because, like, honestly, I just want to see any character, like, if have Streep deploy a simple calculus. What is the thinnest veneer of an excuse? Bad Meets Evil coming to you on April 15th on Althaven.
God damn it.
Twitch.tv/Althaven_.
If I could, I would like to partake in this segment since y'all acting like I don't partake in segments.
Only because
This
you don't. Yeah, please.
Only if they make you feel vulnerable.
anyway, GMs
Did you
out
see a
there.
crit over?
GMs out there, hey, how's it going? This is your fellow black nerd. I would like you to stop using Idris Elba as a face cast. We get it. He's the black guy, you know. Stop. not
Enough.
every black guy in the game needs to be Idris Elba or Denzel. I see you reaching for your Denzel. Don't stop. Try somebody else. And don't you put him in Killmonger braids. Don't you do it. Don't you fucking do it. All right. Cool. I think we're getting somewhere. Put Denzel down. Or Kevin Hart. Don't you. You're not clever. It's a Goliath that looks like Kevin Hart. Haha. You're not funny. We've seen it before. Stop it. Hey, hand over the Killmonger braids. You saw something cool, and now you're overdoing it. Put them down. Stop.
Video games in particular, I think, don't get to play with that particular toy anymore. I've seen you go through video game hairstyles.
You know what breaks my heart to this day? Can we still use Michael B. Jordan? No! No, or Duke
Michael C. Jordan.
If they showed up in Black Panther, they are off limits for the next 8 years.
There's a moratorium on blackface cast.
Listen to because all we got. Find some of the black actors. Damn, 8? Yes, 8. Can Hollywood get a dark skinned woman so we won't all be played by Zendaya? Can we? I want Kiki Palmer to be Rogue so bad. But anyway, that's not important. But what's important is you've been cut off. You've been cut off from all those actors.
I know.
Now, before we move on to something else, is there anything you would like to add, Fox?
What did you weren't you going to say who you were face casting yourself as?
Yes. Kenan Thompson.
No comment.
Damn, Noir out here denying black actors' work. No, see, the thing is, I'm denying GMs from using black actors that get all the work. So now, if GMs have to find other black actors, that means they have to watch other movies with black actors that they don't know, and that gets those other black actors work. In your face, Rashadi. Boom.
I will also be played by Aquafina.
Fox. Most Def. You can use Most Def. Most Def is a good call.
No, I'm gonna be played by Kat Dennings.
Ooh. That's a good pull. That's a good pull.
The council.
Listen, I'm a white girl with brown hair. I'm gonna be played by Kat Dennings. It's fine.
Only because you don't have bangs, making Zooey Deschanel not an option.
Yeah, that's right. I don't have bangs. Zooey Deschanel's not an option.
Mm-hmm.
For all the words being played by Winston Duke and Michael B. Jordan,
They
and
switch
they
off
switch
every
off
scene.
every scene. Uh,
That would be a fun. That would be a fun movie casting. Is if you had two actors with like two completely different like body types, and one of them would be like how the person perceives themselves versus how they actually are. It would be like that the Shallow Hell type vibe.
Yeah,
People
like a
remember
reverse Shallow Hell.
Yeah.
I would like to introduce a new segment
Mhm.
called My Favorite
You are
Mess.
getting amphibianed.
You're making a segment all about me, Nor?
Yeah, no, I mean, we'll see. It's called My Favorite Mess, which is if there's some messy stuff that, like tea or anything that you have been like fond of or just watching or just amused by, this is where you can bring that up. I got two.
Then would you like to start us off? Set an example, perhaps.
Sure.
you.
Um, so there are like my For You page on YouTube and TikTok and all that stuff is inundated with a lot of TTRPG stuff that I
Stretch.
just fuck. Oh, my back popped.
Hydrate.
The,
Thank you, Grey.
So my For You page is inundated with a lot of TTRPG stuff that I am only finding because it hits the page, right?
Mm.
And there's this guy on YouTube that his entire so from what I can foresee, his entire platform is recounting TTRPG mess. And I'm wondering, has anybody else heard of this Crispin Tavern person? Because like it popped up and literally it's like every messy thing that has ever popped up in the TTRPG space, this person is recounting. And I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Oh, group chat. That
Group
was gonna
chat's
be my
great.
second one.
Great.
Group chat is so good. It's so good. The fourth one came out though, and it's not that great. But
Yeah.
I want to know, am I just the last to find out about Crispin Tavern? Because I don't know who this is.
I honestly did not know he existed. Or they existed.
Okay. Because they got like 50,000 followers, and it's just recounting mess.
I think I recall someone mentioning something about how basically they're profiting off of actual people's pain, and a lot of their stuff was pretty inaccurate. And they didn't actually bother to talk to any of the people that were involved in it. They just recounted what they could from Twitter DMs and stuff.
Sorry, drama YouTubers aren't applying full journalistic standards?
I mean, of course not. Never would.
I'm shocked and appalled.
How the fuck does this motherfucker have that many views and I've that many followers and I've never heard of him? Like that's the thing that's bugging me. Like
that you're number 55,000.
I don't.
That you're late to the
I
game.
I didn't subscribe. There was a very evocative thumbnail, and I'm like, I don't know you.
My guess is it's possible that a lot of those like with currently with like high follower count YouTubes, I've noticed that a lot of like, especially if they're more recent, I find that a lot of the followers are bought or like but I can neither confirm nor deny that. That would be very what's the term? That would be specious.
What?
It's not it would be wrong
Specious,
of me
untrue.
Specious and untrue.
Yeah. In this case,
gotcha.
possibly defamatory.
Defamatory.
Well, but a light defamation.
Just a
defamating
smidge of
on
defamation.
stream.
I would never.
Also, Nar, would you want to be popular with the type of people who spend their time watching travel farming streamers? No, but I'm curious, like, all of the content is about the TTRPG space, yet everybody that I've talked to in the TTRPG space is absolutely unaware of this individual. So I was just like,
Is the
Is
person
it
palm
possible
colored?
that
Are they
you
know?
no.
Oh.
is it possible that you are part of the drama generating rather than drama viewing audience? And
That
that
might
these
be
are
it.
not perfectly overlapping segments within the broader TTRPG space? Because my first reaction when you described this was, no, I haven't watched the drama. I endeavor to be the drama.
Mhm. I love defamation. Let's do it, baby. I know the law. Thank you, Joy. Joy is my lawyer.
Well,
Sure.
the other thing that I was gonna mention group chat later, but there is something called Quest RPG,
Mhm.
and it is AI dungeon mastering, and
Oh dear.
it it keeps showing up, and I'm like, who is doing this? Like, I don't like it. It feels there's just a lot happening in the space that I'm like, where is this all sourced from? Where is this coming from? So, yeah.
I mean, TTRPGs is a heterogeneous group with people who come from a bunch of motivations. We sort of saw that even just talking about my TTRPG commandment and role players, which are heavily enriched in theater kid population, and wargamers who are a completely different demographic, both in terms of their motivations, but also often in terms of their other interests, much lower population of differentially expressed theatricality. So does it seem outlandish to me that someone might be both an AI bro and some type of TTRPG gamer? Maybe not the same as the group highly enriched in theater kids, but it's a heterogeneous interest group. Do I think there's maybe one over there that's tech geek into AI, like AI bro, but also TTRPGs? Yeah, that seems plausible to me, just as a thing that could exist in this group. Again, the fun isn't wrong, doesn't mean that the expression can't be tuned.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, those were the messes that I've been just like, what is going on with this? And is there any mess that you have observed that has kind of thrown you for a loop?
As I have slowly withdrawn from socials because, like, whatever I really have to say is just going to be about science, so you can just kind of catch my YouTube. That's like effectively where I'm active on the content creation side, much more than the social side. Promo though I must need to do. So again, quick plug for the YouTube and coffee, because I'm only doing these promotions verbally. I really ought to add to social media. Nonetheless, having been inactive on said platforms and concomitantly experienced increased life satisfaction, I've nonetheless missed out on a lot of drama, but I'm happy to reflect upon something that we have privately discussed, late to the game though it is, to wit, in my first appearance on Morning Ritual. I partook of that guy segment with a certain veneer of anonymity, being as I was a professional in the space.
Please continue.
Diplomatically, not trying to start things and, end up on a drama farming YouTube video. Didn't want that for me. Didn't do it. when I came on Morning Ritual the very first time. So when I talked about that guy, it was very coded since that appearance. Everything about Satine Phoenix and her social circles come right out. We're good. Let's go. It's fine. And so while that is really quite old mess in the TTRPG space now, and while it's perhaps the one that comes most prominently to my mind, because I'm really I'm not where the drama is right now. I'm not enough on socials to be that. Again, concomitant increase in life satisfaction. Do actually recommend it for y'all. But like, I do think the old drama is still quite delicious.
It's kind of funny going back to all the that guy stories because a number of that guys have been publicized now is I guess what we'll say on that one. And I don't think that I can think of a better segue into wait no before that. Fox, do you have a mess that you're
I don't know. The group chat's been really good.
the
Episode 4
group chat's been
wasn't.
so good.
Episode 4 didn't really bring the drama I was expecting. Really, it's just from what I can understand. Also, I go into Shauna the Mom TikTok a lot too. The drama in Shauna the Mom is great. Peak. So Shauna the Mom is it's like she talks a lot about like it's like her life as a mom, and like she plays her husband and she plays her mother-in-law and her father-in-law and like her kids as well, and like her sister-in-law, and like the drama in that one has been very, very good, especially since Barb is such a monster, like a manipulative narcissistic monster.
I have no idea about any of this, but I am invested. Like after the show, I am. You are sending me a link. You are sending me a link, and we're getting into this.
Yeah, Shauna the Mom is very good. Also there's a drama series that I really like called The Pieces, and it's like science fiction, weird alternate reality hopping, time travel, also dark entities from beyond imagining. It's so freaking good. The Pieces series on TikTok. And it's like it's got so many parts to it, and it's like oh, it's so good. It's so good. Also Not Your Normal Kids Show is also very good. If you like weird core horror.
Yeah, nothing about any of the people that are probably watching us right now is interested in weird stuff.
Not Your Normal Kids Show by it's BV Kiwi is the creator on TikTok that does Not Your Normal Kids Show, plays a it's like kind of a weird clown girl named Dottie. And basically everyone talks about what, and like it's set up like a kid's show, like Big Comfy Couch, or like
I don't know. I think you lost me at Clown Girls.
Okay, people don't go for Dottie though. People don't go for Dottie. Why is Tall Man? Tall Man is why. Tall Man is why folks are there. Why is Tall Man kind of?
Yeah, that's why I'll be there. Tall Man. Okay, anyway.
But like there's hidden messages in the narrative, and like things are not what they seem, and there's like demonic things happening in the background. But
all right,
it's Not Your Normal Kids Show. Those are the three dramas that I like.
I'm gonna ask you to put links to those in the social so we can all get in on that. But that being said, now that we've got up the mess, let's get into the shit. Let's talk about that guy. Now, for those of you that are unaware of what a that guy is. They are a veritable black hole of fun at the table. Someone that if they were yeeted into a black hole, the experience at the table would increase 10,000%. So with that, I have to ask Sam DeLev, do you have a that guy story for us?
Well, I've been very fortunate to do most of my gaming recently with Streampunks and with Noirful. And like one of the very lovely things about that is that I have really lovely tables. I would love to be like, and here is a mess. But I think I will take this opportunity then to rhapsodize about the joys of having agency at your tables and expressing agency at your tables, because that guy's stories tend to happen when we don't we get into something when we maybe knew better, or we did get surprised and feel like we won't or can't extricate ourselves from the scenario, or to very proactively communicate. I think the characteristic that separates friction at the table from a that guy is communication. I think if you can resolve the conflict effectively, it's not a that guy scenario. That's kind of the difference. If use your words doesn't work, that's the difference between, well, no table is perfect. No humans are going to exist without social friction, and communication enables the table to be the best table it could be. But if you have reached a zenith of table health and you are still well into a toxic threshold, congratulations, there's that guy at your table. That's probably the thing. And like, an ejection has got to happen. And so at that point, get out if you can, encourage the person with access to the eject button to use it. And if they won't, we might be in a scenario where like recognizing that guy and not ejecting is complicity, because I have older stories when I had less agency about tables, because I was like less the producer on like most of the projects I was working on, where there was a that guy problem. And I did talk to the people who were supposed to use the eject button, and they didn't wanna. And on the one hand, I could totally frame this in a bootstraps kind of light of I should have just walked away, but I don't do that. And likewise, it was the responsibility of the person with control of eject button to really have done something about it. This should not be a I gotta leave because you won't police your table for no other reason. That doesn't solve the problem now, does it? So I think, I'm lucky because I have a lot of production power on a lot of the projects I work on. It's one of the reasons why I get to have some pretty nifty tables, but like most of the time we're not in scenarios where we're at that table, and recognizing sort of how that guy continues to be at our table is perhaps one of the most important things about the segment for me. Like when I hear about it from various people, it's not just what that guy did, but why that guy was allowed to do it more than once. Because frankly, someone acted a fool and then was banished forever never becomes a that guy story. It's a bad luck. It's a you drew a crappy person and then they were ejected and then the system worked the way it should.
I mean, yeah, that is the optimal solution to that guy at the table, is the table kind of coalescing around them and removing the bad influence. Fox, what about you? Do you have a that guy story for us?
Phew. Not recently, unfortunately. The only person that I've actually had the pleasure of having sit with me at the table recently have been the two of you and some other wonderful folks.
Yeah, so that
To
means you
talk
should
about how problematic
definitely
we are. Come on.
exactly. Listen, I've seen me play. It's awful.
Again, we're talking about insecurities. But
Okay, so moving on from that one. Um,
I think that
uh,
um I think that there's a Sam also touched on this, is that there's a lot of times where the fun isn't wrong. It's that their fun becomes more important than the other folks at the table. And I think it's also there's a lot of people that feel like they have a story that they need to tell, and that needs to come out and come to light. But it ends up happening at the detriment of other people's fun. You have to remember that there's other people at the table with you, and you need to give them a chance to shine. And I think we kind of run into this problem where everybody is just really excited and really hyped up about their stories and what they want to say and what they want to tell, that they forget that this is a collaboration.
mm,
That you need, because if you're just here to exposit at people, or if you're just here to write a story,
Right, Noel.
write your OC.
yeah. Dang. I'm
Mhm.
trying to see if I have a that guy story that I haven't already shared on this show. Um,
While you think,
mhm.
I'll just engage with Fox's point for a moment, because I think it's a very lovely one, and I kind of wonder the extent to which our approach toward pre-campaign character development
Mm-hmm.
contributes to excitement about non-collaborative storytelling. Because I think when I think of like character backstory, or even really, really fantastic tools like the 54321, they're solo assignments.
Yeah, agree. They're solo
And
assignments, and they don't necessarily they having them being brought up and sprinkled in, that feels good as a player, when like those little backstory nuggets, which I know that you hate the term, those juicy little backstory nuggets, uh, get cropped up
no, I
that
agree.
they
I don't
can
care for that.
nom
Yeah.
nom 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 nom.
Sounds unsanitary. Yes. Continue.
Um, but I feel like there's a lot of times where I think we find it a lot in like short form, or like where there's not a lot of time to explore and properly exposit the character. Everybody wants like their moment to have like a little spotlight and like
Mm-hmm.
shine, like, here's my character, here's why I think they're awesome, here's what they can do, and like have that, like that those small moments for yourself. Because I think that also, as TTRPG players, like a lot of the times we're very introverted and we can feel a little lonely, and this feels like a social outlet, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
I wonder the extent to which, by changing our pre-campaign character development to
To a more
things more
collaborative
focused on
approach.
character connections, then can we channel the I need to be the main character urge to something that involves engaging the table versus creating effectively narrative zero-sum scenarios where everyone's elbowing to get their solo here's my thing, where
Hmm.
like I think about, even for something like a one shot, which is a great example of let's throw elbows, or literally otherwise no one will know what my character's deal
Yeah.
is really ultimately what you need to snap convey is like, what's the character's TV trope page? And some of those can be articulated with other characters as foils, or is a TV trope page that involves more than one character. And I
Mhm.
think that kind of stuff is more idiomatic to a cooperative thing, something that shouldn't be a novel. How can we discourage like novel writing at the table?
Yeah.
I think pre-campaign materials might be able to play a role.
I think we
I
need to
think
focus less on novel writing and more on a writer's room feel.
I I think one of the things that I I know that I tend to take as a given that I think needs to be reiterated is that tabletop is collaborative storytelling, and
Mhm.
that means that everybody's input are equally valid. It I think one of the problems that we have just as a hobby, a subculture, is that we have grandized the GM to the extent that they have become such a focal point to the average player at the table that they feel that the GM has more stakes in the story than everybody else. I think there is a slight deification of the GM. You know, the way that people talk about the three big ones right now, Bria,
Mhm.
Brennan, and Matt. I think that that's also appealing to a certain type of person who like wants to be that, not due to the talent that they have or the joy that they bring to their tables, but the power that they imagine that those individuals having.
Mhm.
And that's kind like when you start to bring ego into it in that form, that immediately kills collaboration. Um,
I don't think people realize that deifying people is also dehumanizing them at the same time.
I mean, yeah, I absolutely agree,
And you forget that
and
the
I
GM
think
is a
it's
player as a result.
and I think and I think it thoroughly fucks up the way that the table works. Like ultimately, all tabletop games are all of them boil down to everybody sitting and telling a story. Um, that's why the founding principle of TTRPG is the same founding principle of improv, which is yes and. Everybody uses that term, but what it really means is your brick is as valid as my brick, because if I think that my brick is more important than yours, we're never going to build a house. We're just going to argue about a fucking brick. So if you add something to the world, it is everybody's responsibility and privilege to go, yes, that is a thing, and also this. Um, I think what kills a lot of tables is arguing about the brick.
Mhm.
Um, House gonna be lopsided as fuck. Right? But I mean, but that's the magic of improv. The magic of improv is if you put an odd shaped brick, how do we make it work within the structure?
Do we add more
You
mortar?
know,
Do we wait for it to dry? Do we shore it up with something else?
I think and I've actually I've started writing a piece on this. This is like I've tried to do more YouTube content, and one of the very first pieces I wrote is no is a tool. Like no has a very specific purpose at the table, and overuse and what I'm learning personally is underuse can kill a table. Like no has a place at the table. The difference between a good one and a bad one is how it's used. Um,
No,
so
but you're providing options.
and it still honors the existence of but honors the contribution. Please take as wildly out of context as you will. I think
Yeah.
the one thing I
We
would
honor
like
the
to
but.
add to this conversation is where the deification of game masters leads players, because I'm notoriously a never GM only player who has focused on high skill expression in a specific role and see the deification of the game master as rather like the center forward being the only significant position on a court. And just sitting here as a point guard being like, qu'est-ce que le fuck? Because every time we either give all of the spotlight and recognition of skill expression to the GM, or even when the GM puts so much on their own back in credit or in blame, it under-recognizes players who are also on the goddamn court. That we are doing collaborative storytelling, and frankly, the notion that all friends at the table are equal, but some are more equal than others, is really just not cool or fun. It's not nice. And for a lot of people, they rotate around positions on the court often enough that I don't think this necessarily becomes super prominent. But as an always player, like the way that you'll have big 3 GMs and like, name the players at their table now, please. We know there's at least one table where the folks can do that fairly consistently, but that's just an artifact of fandom size for specific tables. The point is that like, it's an ensemble show, and the GM is an equal friend, an equal peer in storytelling, but playing a different position, playing a different role. Yes, one that often requires higher uptime, though not even always at that. It's just, I've spent years trying to be the best TTRPG player I can be and find new ways to contribute to the story, to contribute to the performance, to contribute to the social dynamic at the table, something that all happens simultaneously, to enable the choices of my fellow players and of inclusive of my game master, and for public recognition of each individual's contribution to the table to ultimately be so consistently reduced to the GM is not cool. I don't think we're doing great as a TTRPG space with that. Please put more respect on players. I'm asking as a player. Y'all, yes, GMs are important, but we know that by now.
I will say I am guilty of putting a little bit more weight on the GM's chair. There's a meme going on right now that I think kind of perfectly illustrates how I see it, which is the ref do something. And that's the meme, and the reason that comes to mind is because the reason that I put a greater onus on the GM is because they have the greater uptime. They have the responsibility of making sure that everybody at the table is safe. I think a detrimental GM is far more dangerous than a detrimental player because of that uptime. And that is why, like, I think, like, personally, I believe it is the responsibility of this beef going on right now. Awesome peep, I love that. Guys, shut. I can't stand you motherfuckers. But ultimately, I think that's why there is the. I think it is the responsibility of anybody that decides to sit in that chair to review their own behavior, like, a lot. Like, to, hey, did I let some fuck shit slide? And I also think that, this also goes along with the deification of the GM, because a lot of players let bullshit slide because of GMs. Like, like, if, you know, this is a very crude example, and I'm not certain, but there's a very high likelihood that this would never happen. But like, I do feel like, if somebody were to play with Brennan, and he would just go if he were to just go full tilt problematic, some people would just eat that because it's him, and like that's part of what I think we need to get away from. Like I think there are plenty of people that are playing at tables where the GM is doing fuck shit, and
Mhm.
like they just eat that. And my like, of course, I think the players should review and take care of themselves. That's and I'm not gonna. I have a hard time blaming them. My problem comes with how, as a GM, do you not sit after a session and go, ooh, did I do something wrong? Did I do a problematic? We have seen on streams where a GM's fun being the most important thing to them has blinded them to the damage that they could cause at a table. There's a number of examples. I don't need to get into any
Causing
specific
effectiveness.
ones. Yeah, and it's just like that's the thing. That's the thing that I think every GM needs to check after a session.
There needs to be a level of self-awareness.
Here's what I might put with a touch of pushback, because I think the GM's acknowledged role as the table is
Hmm.
to be referee
Yeah.
of the world. That's actually the job description. And at some point down the line, we decided to also make them referee of the safety and social dynamics at the table. And there's nothing about the role of GM that makes that their job. And yet, we've bundled
Mm.
them. It is not the GM's responsibility to reflect on, did I let something slide, any more than any single player at the table, because the social dynamics are on the level of we are all friends and peers in the project. We play different roles. And by bundling safety, just because it's also a refereeing kind of task, I think we have done a profound disservice to the social dynamic of the table. I think it exculpates fellow players. I certainly think it exculpates the players committing fuckassery at the table. That part of recognizing players more involves taking on more responsibility, including for the social dynamics, because why does it become such a problem when the GM is committing fuck ass behavior? It's because we have arrogated unto them more responsibility for the table's safety. And I think that is not necessary for the position, because I don't think that's a thing a GM has to do. And I don't think it's a good idea either. I don't think it makes for healthy tables to have one hall monitor. I think the more we recognize we're all equals at the table, the less we're going to have fucky power dynamics, for instance. I think it reduces toxicity to flatten the structures at the table. The GM is the referee of the world, of the rules, of the game. We are all the referee of the table. We are all looking out for each other's safety, and we are all responsible for recognizing how we did or didn't contribute to our fellow players, to our friends. Fun.
You know what? Good. That's a good point. I think we're going to wrap on Grave's question, which I guess we might want to start taking questions. I don't know. Uh the general issue of there not being enough GMs, setting aside whether more people should GM, means that GMs have outsized power beyond the game mechanics. They're in high demand and for many players effectively irreplaceable. So they can get away with a lot and can abuse their power. That is an aspect of it.
Mhm. Airport
Well,
rules work in this situation no matter who you are. If you see something, say something.
game on. I think that's a good capper. Did we
I
did we
think
do
that's a
it?
great capper, and I think
Did-
we're at the 2 hour mark. Look at us. So
Look at that.
professional.
We know what the fuck we're doing.
Tightening up
We're
that format.
timeless.
Timeless.
So, that was the episode. If you liked it, be sure to follow us on all the things. If you didn't like it, go fuck yourself.
I've been one of your hosts, AJ. You can find me everywhere at Panita, or at Critical Misses. I am a jack of all trades, master of fun in the TTRPG space. Thank you, Joy.
Chloe Valentine, notorious fan of TSA. I've been your other host, Noir, the less funny sibling of the siblings presented today. This week I am doing a streamathon. Oh, we're bringing back AP Rewind, and we'll be watching season 3 of Power Play. I'm also going to be releasing part 1 of our May Contain Science Outgunned AP. And this streamathon is continuing all the way until next Tuesday. Not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday for the premiere of Bad Meets Evil, which is phase 1 of Noirville. Also, tomorrow you will see me on Last Excelsior over on Althaven. And there's gonna be 2 hours where I won't be on stream tomorrow. No, 3 for my start playing games X-Men game. But other than that, I will see you all next time. And Sam, why don't you take us home?
Hello, I've been Sam DeLev, the internet's problem inflicted upon you for the last 2 hours. Thank you so much. And you can catch me back on the internet later today on my own Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Delevely, DELEVELY, where I will be playing the 2021 remake of Oregon Trail as made by, as we discovered, Australians, which certainly explains some things. It's a fascinating insight into how we are perceived by non-Americans, I think, and how our history is handled. But mostly we're on our last leg. Like, no, actually, but also, yeah. You can also find my stuff as a science communicator, again, on YouTube, youtube.com/@Delevely, and on my coffee coming out tomorrow. We got some new fresh science for you there. Again, you can learn about Klingon and like dozens of other things. I've got over a year of weekly videos up on my YouTube now since we've started moving clips from my Twitch stream. But every week at 8 a.m. Pacific time, you can catch a new episode of May Contain Science right at the beginning of Morning People, my own morning show.
That's been our show, everybody. Are the oxen okay, Sam?
The oxen are okay, but you'd have to ox them yourself.
All right, and now we are all the oxen free of this show. Thanks everybody for stopping by and joining us. We have this is we're never going to do another one of these, but we'll probably be back next Sunday. But until next time, the ritual has concluded. Bye.
Why?